suppose.
So similar to game one, similar to game one, game two is going to have a huge emphasis on dragons, maybe more so than game one. High Elf Star Dragons are the pinnacle of monsters in Warhammer Fantasy. They can take on the mightiest greater demons of chaos. They're crazy. What has been done in Total War Warhammer to maybe revamp or reimagine dragons, and how are they going to play differently in terms of mechanics, play style, than the zombie dragons and the forest dragons of game one? And is anything being done about the dragons in game one? Will they be changed at all?
So, well, they get fire breath. Everything gets fire breath, and we're putting that.
Well, I guess it's not fire for all of them, but
breath.
Okay.
Necrotic breath if it's a zombie dragon.
Yeah.
But they're going to have a nice in-flight breath attack.
Which makes them. Previously they always, they fly along, but they need to go down to melee to engage. So now they can fire from the sky. It makes them a lot more harder to deal with.
Is that an active ability that you kind of line up like a breath spell, or castable ability? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, active ability. Yeah, exactly.
So for getting to one world to the other, is there going to be like some naval? Like, how exactly is that going to work? Is there a way to like blockade other, like trying to get preventing?
So just traveling across the sea.
Yeah.
Traveling across the sea is transport ship kind of gameplay, and auto resolve with two ships come to contact.
Okay.
Yeah, we've definitely chosen to focus our efforts on land battles and where Warhammer's strength really is. But that's not to mean that the sea gameplay is devoid. There's, as we mentioned, the encounters at sea. There's storms that roam around on the oceans. They move between turns around randomly to varying strengths, so you've got to watch out for where they're going to be. There's reefs and maelstroms at sea, which are areas that will damage you. You've got to watch out for.
There's also a certain race that's really good in the sea, but I can't say any more about that at the moment.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. So it's more about like planning and just like you can set up this huge army, but if you don't plan ahead, then you can lose into disaster.
Sure. Yeah.
Worst things happen at sea.
Yeah.
Especially Warhammer.
So in the gameplay we saw, and you guys showed us the Lizardmen and the High Elves. So we played the Lizardmen, so we got to see a bit of the Rampage. That was a cool mechanic, a nice new twist on it. Can we expect something similar for the other new factions, that they'll each have their own kind of different approach to battle like that, or will they be more traditional?
Yeah, each faction plays quite differently in battle. The High Elves they're really all about the defense. They have martial prowess, which is when their health is above 50%. They are much stats balancing to be done. They are much better in charge defense and melee defense. So you've got to be really careful with just trying to keep your units high health, forming shield walls, locking them in. We really want to keep those guys defensive.
Did you just confirm?
No, I didn't.
I was gonna check and see if formations, but okay. Fair enough.
Eagle eyes.
That's the High Elves. We're not talking about the other factions right now, but their gameplay is equally as different in battles, and we'll get to that more later.
So you guys released the Lizardmen roster yesterday. Similar to a few of the units that were implemented in Game 1, like the Aspiring Champions, there are a couple that are drawn from the lore, but aren't actually from the army books. So I would love to hear about specifically the Bastiladon with the Revivification Crystal, and what the idea behind that unit was, how closely you worked with Games Workshop on implementing that, and where that whole impetus came from.
Well, that's kind of Alistair, battle director, battle designer. That's the director thing. He wanted, he kind of spotted, he wanted something else for the Bastiladon to do. We couldn't quite get the swarming working as yet for the
Ark of Sotek.
The Ark of Sotek. So we wanted to work on something else, so a healing platform. So me and Alistair working on it, and then we kind of pitch it to Games Workshop, and we have a very good relationship, as we've said numerous times before. We have a really good relationship with Games Workshop. They're really happy with what we do, and they were like, that's cool, and
it's
so
fitting.
The Revivification Crystal.
Very hard to say.
I know, I came up with a name and now I can't say it. I think the key to kind of working in the lore, making something new in the lore, is if you're kind of you know what the lore is and everything. So if we said to Games Workshop we want a blue flying dwarf, they'd probably say no.
Probably not. Yeah.
As
cool as that would be.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's sensitivity. But if we
Sensitive
say
to initial conditions,
actually we want a cool new crystal kind of ability for Bastiladon, they're probably going to say yes.
Can you expand on how it works in combination with the rampage mechanic?
I can't, to be honest, at the moment.
Or won't.
I mean, it will rampage because it's.
Does it just heal units, or how does the unit function?
I believe it's an AoE healing.
Yeah.
Like a
There's an
corpse
aura around it.
Passive,
It's an aura.
passive
It's a
AoE
passive aura.
healing aura.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll still rampage, but they'll heal when they're fighting. So, yeah.
So, out of all the monsters and creatures in Warhammer, which one is your spirit animal?
Skink!
The one from the trailers. Let's see
We
it.
kind of
happiest
lined
game.
up here. We got
Ragnarok,
Ragnarok, Skink, and Slan. So,
I can say it, not sure.
Hard-hitting questions
yeah,
here.
this is-
If we're taking all of Warhammer, help it.
How about so
Abomination.
far?
Element Abomination. Okay.
So far,
Confirmed.
So far, yeah.
That's confirmed. You're asking me a very specific question.
Grimlock specifically, not just any Carnosaur.
It's
Grimlock.
Is the
It's
best.
got to be Grimlock. Yeah.
Do you get a Saurus Oldblood riding you then? Is that how it works?
No, just crocodile. Not any sort of
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
But there's some other high elf mounts that we didn't see.
High elf mounts.
Yeah.
For
Dragons,
you
great
mean for like
eagles.
mages and princes, or
Yeah, for the commanders.
what did we show off? So there was the great eagle.
We've got a dragon mounts
was
for
there.
the heroes and all.
No, the
I
war.
want to say yes.
Oh, we haven't released the roster yet, so I'm not sure how much we can say.
Yeah, I think
Guys.
more info on that coming later. But
Yeah.
yeah, lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
So we've covered a lot of
Sardonic.
we've covered a lot of stuff for this initial release, which leads us to maybe DLC. So in the past, it's been kind of shaky, but I think people have appreciated the transparency of the DLC that we've gotten here. Very open and upfront about it, especially the timeline that shows we're here. Expect this DLC in the future. I think people have really appreciated that. The Lord packs and the campaign packs have been pretty great. I hope you guys are going to pursue the same level of transparency. But is there like something you've learned that you want to pitch new DLC platforms instead of like Lords and campaigns? Maybe do like a monsters pack or something like that. Are you trying to expand the selection?
I think we've got ideas about things we can try for sure. There's so much stuff that we could put in.
Right.
It's just the list is endless of what we want to do. But for sure, the method of Lord and Hero packs and campaign packs have gone down really well.
That's worked
We're
well.
really happy with what they provide, and
I think particularly like it was such a pleasant surprise to see how stoked people were with Regiments of Renown.
yeah,
Because they're
awesome.
cool. They don't just expand your roster, but they give you access to units before you can get them in your building tree. And I just didn't think they were going to go down as well as they did.
They're really
They
cool.
were just,
I think for me, it's always the Lords and Heroes packs because it's a way of getting all these cool special characters that we may have not got round to on the first pass. So like Skarsnik.
Skarsnik's great, yeah.
And
and Wurzel.
I think it's pretty certain we're going to continue.
Yeah,
Doing
there's
at
stuff
least a
we've
few of
learned
those.
from doing them that we take forward, like the multiple start positions for the legendary lords and things like that. It's just like that makes sense. Let's keep doing that. People really like that.
Multiple start positions is always something we wanted to do from Warhammer 1. Again, it was you have a finite amount of man hours.
Yeah.
You have to focus it.
And on the
we're
point
learning.
And on the point of transparency, yeah, we'll absolutely be talking about that in good time. I mean, we're still kind of early days, but in good time we will start talking in at least general terms about the roadmap a bit.
Sure.
So.
Obviously, you guys can't confirm anything on this front, but I still want to ask, have you thought at all about doing historical campaigns or historical settings, something like the Sundering or the War of the Beard, anything like that? Has that crossed the...
I think we talk about that sort of thing all the time.
All the time.
don't we? It's like, there's so much you can do with this world. I mean, we've got our work cut out, to be honest, just building
The trilogy.
building the
Yeah.
trilogy, and who who knows what we can do later.
Once the
Like,
big
sky's the limit.
map's complete, maybe that's something we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
come and think about
Yeah.
again.
Cool. I think we've covered the breadth of it. Do you have a last question?
Let me try to think of something. Just to end it on a light note.
I have.
You guys one?
It's been asked a few times since the games come out, since the first game came out. Where's Crow?
Well, doesn't Kemmler ask that all the time?
I think he does. Yeah.
Where is Crow?
Where
That
is
is
Crow?
a question.
It's an interesting.
Is that your theory for old friend?
I think he's on holiday. I think he's on
I
holiday.
don't think he's been dug up yet.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Well, I guess
Where is Crow?
Where's Crow?
Where's Crow?
I would love to know. I
It's
missed
It's
that.
very existential.
I missed
It's an
that.
existential question.
Thank you very much for the time. And
Yeah,
thank you,
really
guys.
appreciate
Thank
it.
Are there any parting things you guys are dying to let us know?
And close
Oh.
Anything
Died to let you know.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah. Is there anything we missed that you guys want to tell us?
To wrap my brain.
We've covered quite a lot, haven't we?
We didn't talk about Geomantic Web. That
No.
might be worth touching
Yeah.
on. So Geomantic Web is one of the main factional features for Lizardmen. So I'll go to the lore expert first for an explanation of the
Well, we've got
Geomantic
milk and
Web.
cookies here. The Geomantic Web, so it's basically a lattice of power that the Slan effectively sit in their star chambers at the top of the ziggurats and talk to each other by. As we enter the Vortex campaign, it's kind of fallen into disrepair due to there's something spoilery that's happened to the Vortex. And so part of your campaign gameplay is building up and aligning the Geomantic Web. So the more kind of temple cities you own, the more you can build that power and build that. Connect them up like a big kind of line diagram.
So you want to build up your cities where two ley lines connect, and if the power between them is based upon the lowest level. So if you have a level 3 and a level 2, that's a level 2 power. And that means that the commandments being issued in both of those settlements will perform at a level 2 rank. So you want to try and get your cities to a higher level, connect the ones that connect and get them higher so you can perform more powerful commandments. So there's lots of interesting
Tying it
gameplay
to
and
the
trying to work
commandment
out, okay,
system,
I've
it's
got
really
this city,
strategy,
so
yes.
therefore I want to connect with this one, so I've got to go and get that one and then build them up. And fighting against the Lizardmen player, you want to take out his connections to power him down. So yeah.
It's a totally different way of kind of playing, and again, it's using that kind of asymmetric.
And it gives you
design.
a sort of unusual expansionary choice to make as well, because there's all these ruins. You can rebuild temple cities in those ruins, but this one over here might look like an easy one to grab because it's in a safe point, but are you going to be able to? You've got a big, powerful Geomantic Web going on over here. Is there kind of any point should you be getting a close one, even though it's harder to get, so you can link it up with the web and instantly, build it up and get access to those high commandments. So it gives you some interesting choices to make about where you're going. So.
Yeah.
How does it work in? I can't believe I'm asking you this. How does it work in co-op with the Geomantic Web if you've got 2 Lizardmen players? That's a good question.
That's a good
That is a very good question.
Yeah.
How does that work?
This is concerning,
Come
guys.
sit over here.
I think each player.
Do you have your own web?
I'll
or
go check.
Get back to you on that one.
Yeah, back to you on that
Sounds
one.
good.
Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for the time.
Thank you
Really
very much.
appreciate it.
Cheers, guys.
You're welcome.